What's going on, everyone? Welcome to G-Ball Vision. Today, we have an exciting new knife to check out coming into us from Bestech. While we're getting started, let us know down in the comments what your EDC is today. So we have a new one coming in from Bestech or slash Bestechman. This is their sister company and going to be their more affordable knives. If you're not familiar with that, Bestech and Bestechman, they are the same company. That's just kind of an indication that this is their more affordable line. We are going to be looking at D2 steel. The Guardian here has a nice sheep split blade. I love that swoop out to the tip there. It gives you a more finer point, and where a lot of sheep splits won't give you that unless they're a modified version like this. You're going to have a more straight down to the tip, so piercing is limited. But in this case, piercing is not going to be as easy as maybe a spear point or something like that, but you'll still be able to make piercing cuts and slice no problem. Love the satin finish on the blade. I'm a sucker for satin finishes. I do enjoy them. We have a nice big cutout here for deployment. Little bit of jimping there on the spine. This is a standard button plunge lock and it feels very good. I just pulled it out of the box when I hit record. We are looking at steel liners here and they are heavily recessed in there. We have a G10 backspacer here and we are looking at right hand carry only, and it is recessed along with the screw there. Would have liked to seen left-hand carry options. I know they do have different colored options, but I do believe right-hand carry is across the board. We do have a little lanyard hole here on the butt end. A very straightforward knife here. Let's see what kind of size we're looking at. We have 3 inches of cutting edge, 3 3/8 of total blade, and we're coming down there. Yeah, we'll say 5/8, 7 5/8 overall. We have a couple of comparisons here with the Benchmade bug out up top and the Kaiser drop bear on the bottom, and it's definitely going to fall right in line with both of those. I don't think we need to go too crazy with comparisons. This is going to be a very standard, straightforward folding knife. We are looking at that nice deep carry clip. Going to look very simple in the pocket, nothing extravagant going on. Looks very casual, and it's going to carry nice and deep. Might see a tiny bit of that butt end, but going to carry pretty deep, and it has great retention on there, I should say. Very good retention, and it'll be easy in and out of the pocket, which is a good thing. So great retention on that clip. That's exactly what I want to see. We'll go ahead and get a final weight on this. And I know these were on pre-order there for a little bit, but I believe these are now available while I'm recording this. I've had this for a little bit, but they were on pre-order, so I wasn't in a huge hurry to get the video done, right? But I believe they are now available, and they're priced very well. Bestech is routinely a little higher than, say, the average, but I would say the build quality and the quality at which these are made and the materials, I'd say it's pretty much, it's okay with me, is what I'm getting at. To get a better quality, you pay a little bit more. 3.6 ounces and 102 grams. So ratio people might cry a little bit, but this feels good in the hand. It doesn't feel too light, not too heavy. I'd say it feels very good. And I like that they have that full choil there. That gives you a nice choke up point if you need a little bit more control over the knife. It feels very well balanced, I would say. I don't need to get too crazy. It's right behind the pivot there, which is just good. That's good with me because right here is where all your control is. So that'll be very nice. You can use that to choke up on the tip there. Let's go ahead and we'll get a handle thickness and blade stock thickness. I just realized I forgot to guess the weight. You guys know me. I can't shut up sometimes. We are looking at 0.51 on the handle thickness. I'd say very standard in that regard. And we're looking at 126 thousandths on the blade stock. And we'll pick a random spot here behind the edge and just try to get a basic reading. And it's coming down there nice and thin at 16 thousandths. So let's see how this thing cuts out of the box. I've owned quite a few Bestech OEM knives, quite a few, and I've owned several Bestech and Bestechman knives. And one thing I can say about them is I've never been disappointed with one of their knives. Maybe not all of them was I like over the moon for, but I've never been disappointed with a Bestech knife. And I think, that's why they charge a little bit more. There's a little bit more care that goes into a Bestech or Bestechman than maybe the next guy, right? And I'd say for quite a while. There's probably very few, and I don't think anyone really knows how it works, but there's very few companies that I would say are ahead of Bestech, and I would say Bestech is right in line with some of the top production knife companies in the world. I think these will come in right around $50, somewhere in that ballpark, depending on I think they're going to have several different ones. I'll have shown a picture, or if I haven't, I'll show one now. We'll go ahead and make sure this lock is going to hold up for us. We are perfectly centered up there. There's not going to be any detent lash because there's no detent here. And we have no pivot lash either. Soft open. There's no up and down play. And there's no side to side play. So we'll start out here towards the tip and see what happens. We are looking at a standard plunge lock. And that's no excuse for any lock failure. But plunge locks are known to be finicky, and I wouldn't put them real high on most reliable locks. At least not right now, right? We really are just getting over a year to 2 years where button plunge locks were hit or miss, and it was very disturbing, I would say. Now, I can say ever since I made that video last year, the locks have been staying locked up. I've handled a lot of knives over the last year and a half, and 99% of the ones I handled stayed locked up. We did have a couple of failures, and that's a given. Companies are going to miss, but we just don't want widespread mass misses on these types of things. If one slips through or a couple slip through, that's one thing. But when hundreds of them slip through with issues, we have a problem there. You're not checking your stuff. And companies are now starting to, I know that a lot of companies were, but then we got into a whole different world where action was king. And I think companies focus so much on that they forgot about some of the stuff that actually mattered. So, and I think they stopped or wasn't doing it as strategically as they should have been. But I know there's companies now that are telling me that they are checking the locks and how they're doing them, which is a basic similar test as we do here. I've had some input from viewers out there, and I'm not giving any knife any free passes. If it appears that I'm hitting it lighter or not in the right spot that you would like or whatever, I try to work up from the tip to the back end or the back end up to the tip. So I try to cover the entire blade. I know that some knives will stay locked up in this area, but then you put them at a very awkward spot and they will fail. I know that. So that's why I do the certain hits I do, and I know what should pass and what will make a knife fail. I have tested hundreds of these in a row. You can check every unboxing I do. If it's not in that unboxing, which is a small percentage of unboxings, there might be a handful where I forgot, ran out of time, whatever. They were later checked. Every knife that has come across my table in the last year and a half or so, the last year, has been checked. So that is something I heavily pay attention to here. And I think the longer some of those people are around, they will know that that is something I fully expect. And I don't care which company, which designer it is, they all know I'm going to check them. And the ones who didn't do know now. So they know I'm checking them. Nobody's getting a pass from me when it comes to the lockup and checking the locks. That is something I fully expect out of a locking knife, to stay locked up under those very simple tests like that. There's no excuse for it not to pass something like that. In regards to the Guardian, and off that tangent, I just felt like it needed to be expressed there. A couple of notes from viewers and whatnot, and I assume those people haven't been around too extremely long. But the Guardian here, this is a cool knife. Very straightforward, though, like I said earlier. Very simple design. If you like Bestechs, you like sheep's foots, this will be and you like plunge locks. I know people are getting sick of plunge locks, but I will repeat it. They are getting so much better. If that's one thing that you were, concerned about, I mean, the action on these button locks is so much better than it used to be. No, not quite comparable to an extremely good detent, but I would say this is a pretty solid opening action for a button plunge lock. Very, very good on Bestech's part. I've said time and time again, these companies are really starting to hone in on the plunge lock and the crossbar lock opening action. You guys will have to let me know, what do you think of the Bestechman Guardian here? I love hearing from you guys. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. That helps push the video out there to more people. If you're new here to the channel and you enjoy this type of content, you're in the right place. Make sure you subscribe, because I release daily videos just like this. I will put up a couple of new videos on your screen that YouTube is recommending. You go check out right now. Have yourself an awesome day. I will catch you on the next one.